From actually winning against Tyron Woodley with a knockout to vowing to hunt down KSI next, Jake Paul has had one hell of a career. But the biggest turning point came when he went against the Tommy Fury. The fight was hyped up for months, but when push came to shove, Paul let me down. How could he have lost against a Love Island star? Absolutely embarrassing. But he came in on an interview on his brother Logan's podcast and tried to explain why he actually lost the fight. He said he messed up because he had a wet dream the night before. Yeah, that's about the funniest excuse I've ever heard. He blamed one of the biggest losses of his career on a nice dream he had. But just hold on, he might actually be right. He said the wet dream destroyed his routine, and besides that, he was also sick before it. So the two combined and wrecked his body. Logan also seemed confused if the dream really affected him that badly. But apparently, he woke up and told his mom because it was that serious. And once Logan found out, he admitted that he had one too before he fought KSI. So not exactly a coincidence.
So much for that prediction from both men.
But before you crack up laughing, like I did, you'll be surprised to know that there's actually a bit of science involved in it. It's an old tradition that boxers have been using for a long, long time.
And he's not been a volume puncher anyway in his brief career.
Paul overcame adversity in round 4.
They increase testosterone in their body by not discharging for around 2 weeks. And that just makes these boxers so much more irritable and angrier.
From Jake Paul, not Tommy Fury, because he would have to go to the judges with both men. He only did it with Jake Paul.
So stepping into the ring with someone who hasn't released for 2 weeks is a pretty straightforward way to end up in the ICU. But sometimes it becomes too hard for the boxers to keep under control. So unless you've got the focus and determination of Bruce Lee or something, it's very hard not to lose all that aggression with that wet dream.
Paul tries to hold. He missed there with the...
Jake Paul said that he got woken up because of it in the middle of the night, and as soon as he saw the stain, he panicked. His nice underpants and bed sheets were ruined. But worst of all, his fight was never even going to lift off the ground because he was at a huge disadvantage in the fight.
He delivered some of his own.
Under a minute left here in the fifth. Tommy Fury.
He said he woke up and he immediately felt his legs give out from under him. All that energy had been evaporated in a single dream. Weeks and weeks of training was lost. The reason for it actually has something to do with the brain and its neurological connections in your body.
In terms of total punches landed here in the third with 40 seconds left. And then Woodley.
Once you've done exactly what the boxers were practicing not to do, your brain releases the happy chemical oxytocin and you immediately chill out. But the legs are hit the hardest. They're the first to go, and you'd be wobbling around trying to get a grip on them. And that makes you feel like 1,000,000 tons. Jake admitted that's exactly what happened to him. I thought Logan was going to flame him hard right then and there, but he didn't, since it's more common than you think. Logan said he was also mentally upset when he had to go against KSI, but Jake didn't seem too worried, and he said that losing to Tommy Fury was truly a gift for him. It was an opportunity to focus on himself and get better. He's truly on that Sigma mindset behavior.
And he turned the tables. Again, the movement is what's
Tommy Fury.
He wasn't bothered that Fury had won by a split decision. At first, after the fight, he admitted that Fury had fought well and deserved to win. But now, he went back on his words. He says that Fury didn't actually win anything. Instead, he just lost the fight. Doesn't sound like he knows when one person loses, the other wins. But he said he was happy and loved himself right now, and had complete confidence in himself that he would have a lot of personal growth because of it. He said he was figuring out a lot of stuff about his identity and didn't think he needed to be some tough and badass person all the time, and that was good enough for him.
Right there at those counter punches.
big uppercut by Woodley. I don't know if it got.
But he kept going on about how he still didn't lose the fight. He said he wasn't making any excuses, and then followed that up with like 20 excuses on the spot.
Know that he got hit. And that's exactly what they need to do right now. Make noise. Now who's having the best of the moment?
His legs were weak. He didn't follow the game plan, and he didn't cut his weight properly. He squeezed in his training and didn't give it enough time, and just generally wasn't on his A game.
Tommy Fury said his professional fights. Jumping right hand by Tommy Fury.
Whatever the case was, Fury had the same time to prepare, and he didn't need to be sitting in his position explaining why he lost. He came in with his dignity intact and left with it held even higher. And I think at some level, even Jake recognized that because he still genuinely respects his rival.
There's an uppercut by Tommy Fury. Fury, 70 of 2.
In the same interview, he was fangirling over Fury. He praised his personality and said that after the match, they met in the locker room, and they both said they wanted a rematch because of how good it was. Paul said that Fury deserves the overnight fame he's getting and is definitely blossoming into a fearless fighter. He said he was also very grounded in reality and was pretty down to earth when they spoke. This was surprising since they were both talking too much trash before the fight.
On the other hand, he started as I expected him to, a little fast, coming right after Jake. This is what I expected from Tommy.
I low-key expected him to brag afterward, but he never did, and they even hugged it out. Major respect to him for that. The YouTuber claimed that the sport has a certain allure. The two were prepared to viciously beat each other down only a day before, but after that, war broke out, and they savagely beat each other in the ring.
Will be able to inflict punishment on the other. So
Those overhand rights.
Through those terrible times, they got to know each other very well and left with a great deal of respect from both sides. This is the reason why the rumors have intensified even further, that they could be facing each other even sooner than you'd think. Fury just barely won. The fight was much harder than he had anticipated, and because it was so difficult for the judges to decide who should win, a rematch should provide all the answers. Fury and Paul both lost points for their foul play. As soon as he left the ring, the former Disney star even yelled for a rematch. ESPN just recently verified that things are going more quickly than expected behind the scenes, and the second chapter of their fight might be going down in July. Jake should have had more time to plan this time at least, but he just can't lose again. He'd never live down getting beaten twice. Right now, Tommy is merely defending his championship. All he has to do is play it safe. He said he was sure that he would once again dominate the contest, but he's attempting to go a step further this time and declared that he would win by knockout against Paul. That would be the breaking point. I mean, he's already engaged him in combat once. He'll probably be prepared even better the second time around. WWE analysts are likewise having a hard time making predictions about what might go down. Tommy has only fought in 6 professional games, but has rapidly become one of boxing's most recognizable figures. Whatever happens now, one thing is certain: Jake Paul is going to have a busy couple of months. Well, that's all for Jake Paul blaming his loss against Tommy Fury on a wet dream.